Yeah. Okay, go for it.
Well, welcome to Northern Light Spiritual Center. Northern Light Spiritual Center is a community of people dedicated to using spiritual and practical principles to create lives we want to live. Northern Light Spiritual Center offers practical and spiritual tools to make positive changes in our lives. My name is Reverend Vaughn Amaré, and the co-minister with me is Reverend Mykal Amaré. And today we are so blessed and gifted to have the founding minister, Reverend Pamela Beatty. So please join me in our opening song. Actually, before we do that, we at Northern Light Spiritual Center acknowledge our presence here on the traditional and unceded ancestral lands of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish and Salish peoples. These people are still here, and we join with them in how they continue to honor and bring light to their ancient heritage. We seek to resist the erasure of Indigenous histories as we work towards honoring and inviting the truth. Please join me in our opening song by Ron and Carol Harris, In This Very Room. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. There's quite enough peace and quite enough power to walk through our every fear. For Spirit, sweet Spirit, is in this very room. In this very room.
Good morning, all.
Good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning.
Very good. So let's prepare for this morning's meditation by allowing ourselves to get comfortable in our seats. Placing your hands in your lap in an open and upright position. And if it serves you, close your eyes. And so we're going to take 3 deep cleansing breaths in and out together. So let's breathe in. And let it go. Breathe in again. And let it go. And one more time in. And let it go. And so let us do a quick survey of our body to see if there's any place that's holding on. Starting at the bottom of our feet and moving on up until we get to the top of our head. And if you find such a place that is holding on, just say to it, relax, release, and let go. Relax, release, and let go. Just relax, release, and let go. And so I'd like you to call to mind something that you would like to accomplish. Something that you would like to do in this life. Perhaps it's something on your bucket list. Perhaps it's writing a book. Perhaps it's traveling. Perhaps it's starting a business. Perhaps it's getting in shape, getting healthy, running for office. Whatever it is, call to mind, bring into your mind one thing that you would like to accomplish. And now, see yourself already having accomplished whatever it is. See yourself doing, being whatever it is. What do you see? What does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it sound like? What does it taste like? What does it feel like? Embrace the feeling. Do you feel joy, happiness, excitement, exhilaration? What does it feel like? Embrace the feeling of already accomplished or having whatever it is. Now magnify that feeling 100 times. Just make it bigger. Feel it more. Embrace it more. And so let's give thanks for the manifestation, for it is already done. And now, whatever it is, turn it over to Spirit. Give it to Spirit. And know that it's done. Just turn it over. In faith, just turn it over. And so together, we're going to say, "It is done," 3 times together. And then we're going to end with, "And so be it." And so together, And we're going to say it audibly. It is
is
done.
done.
It
It
is
is
done.
done.
It
It
is
is
done.
done.
So be it. And so it is. I guess it's still me, right?
Still you.
It's still me. Okay. So this morning's reading comes off of the internet. It's a blog by Amy. She just goes by Amy, so I guess she's kind of doing a share kind of thing. But anyway, the title is Things Will Work Out, Keeping the Faith in Tough Times. As I get closer to my birthday, I'm starting to reflect on how much I've grown over the last 29 years. One major change that has helped me overcome much of my anxiety is adopting faith in the fact that everything will work out. In my darkest times, I used to panic when the littlest things would go wrong. I remember one day when I was 19 when my old Volvo 240 Turbo suddenly lost power while driving down a busy street in LA. I called my mom sobbing. I wasn't in any danger. I just had to pull to the side of the road and figure it out. It was that simple. But because of the attachment I had to the idea that things must go a certain way, I shattered when they didn't. If something doesn't go your way, or the unexpected threatens to shove you against the wall enough to knock you out, do you hold on to the faith that things will work out? I ask this because this is key to how you handle life. As much as we'd love to control every situation we get thrown into, the truth is that all we can control is how we react to situations. But that's old news, right? I say that all the time. What I want to talk about today is the belief that it will work out and ways to keep the faith even in your darkest times so that you can find the light faster. Today's post is about actively keeping faith in your own life. Today's post is about not giving up, crumbling, or letting the challenges we're faced with overcome us. Today is the day you stand up strong and allow challenges to come your way, knowing that you'll come out stronger on the other side. In addition to keeping the faith, I've listed some things to remember that will make your life flow much easier along with that belief. By remembering the tips listed here, you can ensure that you too can stay strong in even the toughest situations. So here we go. Stop focusing on all the ways it won't work. Now, I know no one does that here or out there, but for those of you who have friends that do, when you're focused on the worst possible outcome, you're more likely to fulfill those fears. Faith requires effort, just like taking action does, which we'll talk about in a sec here. If you know you're predisposed to Eeyore type thinking, it might require a bit more effort on your part to stay positive. And everybody knows what Eeyore type thinking is, right? Okay. When you notice yourself starting to drift toward the woe is me, worry, ward mind frame, stop yourself. Then redirect the positive direction. Ask yourself, what's the best possible scenario here? Are you taking action to create that outcome? Luck is something you create through action and interpretation of what life deals to you. Make yourself the luckiest person you know. The second one is, don't try to control the way it works out. No control freaks here, I know. This applies to pessimistic and optimistic ideas of what the future holds. You have no control over some things that add to the outcome of whatever you're working toward. As much work as you can put into something in your life, there reaches a certain point at which you must give up control. If you don't, you can drive yourself mad. Much of your frustration, anxiety, worry, and depression comes from the fact that we try to control things we simply cannot control. Have faith that it will work out, yes, but don't force it to happen the way you see it happening. The third is to keep an open mind. Oftentimes, life throws the unexpected at us. If you keep an open mind, those unexpected events can seem more like possibilities than obstacles. Start viewing the unexpected as opportunities to accomplish your goals in a new way. Things work themselves out in ways we could never plan for. Keep the door open and unexpected to open doors you never saw before. The next one is pull over and get your bearings. Just like when my car lost power, you too can take the time to pull over to keep from freaking out. If I had taken a second to pull over and take a breath, I would have realized that I was in no danger. That this would work itself out, and no one would be all that affected. Take the time to pull over and get grounded again sometime. Take some deep breaths. Take a time out. Close your eyes and ask, where is the opportunity in this situation? Or how will this event strengthen me? The next one, don't just believe, take action. Let's pull the first category again here. Stop focusing on all the ways it won't work out. I want to encourage you to instead focus on being positive and taking actions that align with the positive mind frame. Action is the key to realization. If you don't try to create the life you want, things will most likely not work out in your favor. You must exert effort. You must allow it to happen by making the space for the opportunities in life. Yes, there reaches a point where you can't control the outcome, but reaching that point takes some work. Break down your goals into mini goals and make a plan of action. Add faith in the fact that it will all work out and you'll be a major force to reckon with. That's all for today, guys. Keep the faith. And so
Mykal,
it
you're
is.
muted. I can't hear anything.
I don't know why she can't hear anything.
Mark, can you hear?
It says Mykal Amaré muted, and I didn't hear anything Stephanie said.
But and she should be muted.
You're muted, Mike.
So you couldn't hear any, you haven't heard anything from the beginning.
Nope. Well, I heard you guys have been muted. So
All
I
right.
thought we were still in meditation. So.
What do you guys want to do?
Why don't you repeat the reading?
Yeah.
Okay, round two. And for those of you who didn't hear the meditation and the song, it will be on Facebook.
Right.
And we
Facebook.
apologize.
And we definitely apologize. Okay, here we go. I guess we need to hear this again.
I guess we did.
Okay. This is from a blog, and it's from Amy. And the title is Things Will Work Out, Keeping the Faith in Tough Times. As I get closer to my birthday, I'm starting to reflect on how much I've grown over the last 29 years. One major change that has helped me overcome much of my anxiety is adopting faith in the fact that everything will work out. In my darkest times, I used to panic when the littlest thing would go wrong. I remember one day when I was 15, when my old Volvo 240 Turbo suddenly lost power while driving down a busy street in LA. I freaked out and called my mom sobbing. I wasn't in any danger. I just had to pull to the side of the road and figure it out. It was that simple. But because of the attachment I had to the idea that things must go a certain way, I shattered when they didn't. If something doesn't go your way, or the unexpected threatens to shove you against the wall enough to knock you out, do you hold on to the faith that things will work out? I ask because this is a key on how to handle life. As much as we love to control every situation we get thrown into, the truth is that the truth is that all we can control is how we react to situations. But that's old news, right? I say that all the time. What I want to talk about today is the belief that it will all work out, and ways to keep the faith even in your darkest times so that you can find the light faster. Today's post is about actively keeping faith in your own life. Today's post is about not giving up, crumbling, or letting the challenges we face with overcome us. Today is the day you stand up strong and allow challenges to come your way, knowing that you'll come out stronger on the other side. In addition to keeping the faith, I've listed some things to remember that will make your life flow much easier along with that belief. By remembering the tips listed here, you can ensure that you too can stay strong in even the toughest situations. The first one is, stop focusing on all the ways it won't work out. When you're focused on the worst possible outcome, you're more likely to fulfill those fears. Faith requires effort, just like taking action does, which we'll talk about in a sec here. If you know you're predisposed to E or type thinking, it might require a bit more effort on your part to stay positive. When you notice yourself start to drift toward the woe is me, worry-wart mind frame, stop yourself, then redirect those thoughts in a positive direction. Ask yourself, what's the best possible scenario? Are you taking action to create that outcome? Luck is something you create through action and interpretation of what life deals to you. Make yourself the luckiest person you know. Second one, don't try to control the way it works. This applies to pessimistic and optimistic ideas of what the future holds. You have no control over some things that add to the outcome of whatever you're working toward. As much work as you can put into anything in your life, there reaches a certain point at which you must give up control. If you don't, you could drive yourself mad. Much of our frustration, anxiety, worry, and depression comes from the fact that we try to control the things we simply cannot control. Have faith that it will all work. Yes, but don't force it to happen the way you see it happening. The next one is keep an open mind. Oftentimes, life throws the unexpected at us. If you keep an open mind, those unexpected events can seem more like possibilities than obstacles. Start viewing the unexpected as opportunities to accomplish your goals in a new way. Things work themselves out in ways we could never plan for. Keep the door open and allow the unexpected to open doors you never saw before. Next one, pull over and get your bearings. Just like when the car lost power, you too can take the time to pull over to keep from freaking out. If I had just taken a second to pull over and take a deep breath, I would have realized that I was in no danger, that this would work itself out and no one would be at all that affected. Take the time to pull over and get grounded again. Take some deep breaths, take a time out, close your eyes and ask, where is the opportunity in this situation? Or how will this event strengthen me? The next one, don't just believe, take action. Let's pull out the first category again here. Stop focusing on all the ways it won't work out. I want to encourage you to instead focus on being positive and taking actions that align with the positive mind frame. Action is the key to realization. If you don't try to create the life you want, things will most likely not work out in your favor. You must exert effort. You must allow it to happen by making space for opportunities in life. Yes, there reaches a point where you can't control the outcome, but reaching that point takes some work. Break down your goals into mini goals and make a plan of action. Have faith in the fact that it will all work out and you'll be a major force to reckon with. That's all for today, guys. Keep the faith. Stay strong. And so it is.
So, hello. My name is Reverend Vaughn Amaré, and I'm here with Reverend Mykal Amaré, and I'm here with Reverend Pamela Grace, who founded Northern Light Spiritual Center. And I'm saying this because the people on Zoom did not get to hear anything because everything that was happening here was muted. So, Facebook, you get to hear it again. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough peace and quite enough power to walk through our every fear. For Spirit, sweet Spirit, is in this very room. In this very
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Zoom folks. Good morning, Facebook folks. Good morning, new folks. It's just wonderful to see you. Thank you for your patience with technology. Just when you think you found out where it's at, they up and move it. And it was, I appreciate Stephanie doing the reading twice. For those of you on Facebook who already heard it, I'll bet you heard something different the next time around. Something else came to you. Last week, I watched the movie The Last Holiday with Queen Latifah in it. I've seen it actually a couple of times before, but I noticed some things I had never seen before. And one of them has directly to do with my talk. My talk title is Freefall into Space. Oops. Freefall into faith. It came from space, but it's into faith. And in the movie The Last Holiday, at one point, you probably know it, Queen Latifah finds out that the character she plays, finds out she only has so many weeks to live. So she takes her savings for retirement and decides to blow every penny of it on this vacation she's always wanted. And in the beginning of the movie, one of the things she does is she takes a free fall that has a little parachute, and there's this huge wall, and they're wearing an outfit that has bat wings with the arms and some sort of webbing at the feet so that it'll catch the air. And for a while, after she jumps off this wall, which looks like a mega skateboarding swoop, huge. And they only lose a few people. You know, only a couple of them hit the wall and die. Mostly everybody does all right. We're talking free fall into faith. So there she is, she's poised, and about 3/4 of the way down, a little parachute opens, and she lands and tumbles. And I always think, boy, it takes a lot of faith to do that. You have to trust that the parachute is going to open. And so this month we're talking about faith and what that looks like and how it feels to let go of what we're afraid of, what we think we know, what we don't know, all of the things that keep us from living fully into our lives. Recently, someone was encouraging me to do some work I don't want to do anymore. I have done it a very long time. And I don't want to do it anymore. I want to do the work that brings passion. And in Stephanie's, and thank you Stephanie for that, her meditation, I got to picture my vision because I do know what it is I want to do. And I got to picture it one more time. And each time I picture it, I think, I can do that. And I'm taking baby steps toward doing it. I'll just tell you what it is I want to sell my art. So I've got a website, I've got a whole bunch of paintings I've done. I have so many paintings I've done, I can't put them on my wall. I'm now putting them against the wall in the office. So I've got my inventory. And now I'm learning how to get that inventory out to the world. So I can see it, but my vision is that instead of working in what I don't want to work in anymore, I put all my effort into the painting. And then the other thing I want to do is speaking, and I'm doing that now, but I want to do more of it. So as we went through the meditation, I could see those things happening. They're getting more and more solid. The free fall into faith is what's needed, because I don't know how exactly I'm going to make all of this happen, although I have some ideas. But mostly I have to let go and lean back into faith. You know those exercises, some of you have probably done them, where they call it the trust fall? And in one of those times when I did it, we actually had to fall off a platform into the waiting arms of the people in front of the platform. Now that was fun. I was right up there with bat wings jumping down off of a scoop hoping the parachute will open up. I was like, what if they don't like me? And they all say, oh, not catching her. What if that happens? I found that it was as difficult to fall into the arms of one person as it was to fall off the platform into everybody. But the feeling of being caught when I fell off the platform was amazing. And the feeling of free falling into faith and having spirit be the wind beneath your wings is also amazing. And the beautiful thing about this is, because I could hear somebody saying, well, Pamela, but what if I don't deserve it? What if the wind isn't blowing that day? The beautiful thing about faith is, in my opinion, it's like grace. Paul's grace. Paul, in his letter to the Romans, said, you don't earn grace. The very nature of grace is grace. You don't earn it. You don't have to go after it. You don't have to plead and bargain for it. It's there because it's just there. It's there for us. It's sort of like recognizing that the universe is turning somersaults to help us have the lives we want to live. Recognizing that we have all we need right here and now to be happy. Recognizing that what we need is provided. How many times have you looked for something or wanted something or thought you needed something and then it's right there? I can't tell you how many times I've gone to the store thinking, I need to buy this, and I come home and I already have 2 of them in the cabinet. Because I'm always thinking, I need to buy this! Instead of, I have everything I need. And it's amazing. I'm trying not to go to the store so often. And I'm thinking, I need to go buy these ingredients to cook that, to do this. And then I come home and I think, so what can I do with what I already have? And I've gotten quite creative, and most of it has been very good. There's been a little slip now and then, but for the most part, like I just had vodka spaghetti sauce with leftover chili for hot dogs, all in the same thing. It was delicious. I know, may not sound delicious to everybody else, but it was better than it sounds. We have what we need right here and now. One wise teacher said recently, begin with where you are and what you have right now. There's something you want in your life, you know it's there, you're here, how do you get there? Begin with what you have in your life right now. Those little baby steps. We tend to think in terms of presto, it's there. Zap, there it is. We're a little away from what? Delayed gratification. Remember that phrase where you know what you want and you're willing to wait to get it. Delayed gratification. Not, I want it now, I want it now. Instant pot, make it so, right now. No, I'm willing to put it in a, what was the other pot?
Slow cooker.
The crock pot, thank you. I'm willing to put it in the crock pot and let it simmer for a few hours. So faith is like grace. If we can fall into faith, we can make it so. The other thing about faith is there's no there. By that I mean that we can't say, okay, got faith, sort of like got milk, little package, half a gallon of milk, yeah, you got the milk. Got faith is a continuing journey. Once again, just when you think you know where it's at, they up and move it. Got faith, and something new comes in, and the terrain changes. Okay, yeah, I had faith yesterday and it all showed up, I'm so happy. And then it's another day, and here we are facing new challenges, new circumstances. It's kind of like the hot weather we had for so long in Seattle. We weren't quite ready for that. And now we've got rain, yay! But if we had rain 5 more days, people would be complaining. Things change. They're subject to change without notice. And when that happens, we might tumble off of that faith. Like Stephanie's reading mentioned the woman panicking with whatever was going on with her car and pulling off. Instead of taking a breath, pulling off, pulling herself together, working the spiritual practice of meditation, of prayer, of breathing, whatever practice you have that brings you back to center. Working that. I have found that, again, there's no there. If I stop meditating, if I stop praying, if I stop doing my spiritual practices, my life goes to you know where in a basket. If you want to know what you have faith in, look at your life. Like what you see? Good. Don't like what you see? There's something about how you're thinking and what you're expecting that's bringing you what you got. Now that's the downside of our spiritual philosophy. We don't get to lean on, well, it's their fault. It's their fault. It's my life is their fault. We don't get to lean on that. We don't get to lean on that. If I don't like what's going on out there, I have to look within me. And that can be very, very difficult. I could talk more about that, but I won't. There are some things we're looking at out there and we're thinking, I didn't do that. I didn't vote for that. However, somewhere in there, we have a part in it. Somewhere in there, there's something for us to learn from it. Somewhere in there, there's some part of us that has been constricted that needs to open up. Another spiritual teacher I was listening to said, well, when you pray, pray for the people you don't like, you're upset with, and don't just pray for them to think like you do, but pray for them to move to a higher place in themselves. And pray for yourself to move to a higher place in yourself. I believe it was Einstein who said the problem cannot be solved at the level at which it was created. That's a very esoteric way of saying the thinking that got the problem right there is not going to solve the problem. You have to think in a different way, in a higher level, to see what's going on to fix it. So while we're busy praying for everybody else, we need to pray for ourselves to move up a little on that spiritual food chain. Another thing about free-falling into faith is recognizing that everything is energy. Everything is created from energy. This is not a wooey fungal forest spiritual concept. The scientists will tell you, you break it down, you get into the quarks. It's all energy. And I like what somebody said, and probably I'm the only one who likes it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Someone said, there's agreements. When you sit down in a chair, there's an agreement, a scientific, theoretical, actual agreement that your behind is not going to fall through the space of the chair and onto the floor and through that too, because although everything is energy, the way it's formulated, we can sit in a chair, even though if we got a microscope, you could see all the space in the physical being of us and the physicalness of the chair and the physicalness of the floor. There's space because it's all made of atoms and other things, littler things than atoms. And around all of it is space. Nothing is actually solid. But tell that to us when we're walking down the street. It's solid. So I say that to say, so in all of that solidness is energy, because what makes it up is moving. Atoms have things spinning around, and then there's stuff, it just goes on and on. Okay, so science wasn't my best area, but you get what I'm saying. So everything is energy. So what? So we can feel energy. We can bring in energy, and we can and do expel energy. Now, if you get close enough to someone, you can feel the heat of their body. That's energy. put your hands to your face. You can feel your own heat. That's energy. What's this got to do with free falling into faith? We're free falling into an energy. We're free falling into trusting that the energy that's all around us, that's been created, that comes from a power bigger than we are. When we free fall into it, we become one with it. And that can take us to those higher levels. There are levels of energy. I'm going to mention our practitioner, Stephanie, once again. She gave a talk, and there was a pyramid of levels of energy and the weight that they had. And what it said, bottom line, is that there's certain energy that takes you down and constricts you. And then there's energy that as it goes up, it opens. Down at the bottom was fear, anger, worry. Up at the top was joy, love, and enlightenment. Enlightenment was at the very top. And then in the middle were various things like purpose, stretching my memory here, something, acceptance. Desire was interesting. Desire was in the lower level, which means more constrictive. So what does this have to do with anything? Look at how you're feeling in your body about stuff and things. For example, when I was considering this other work that I decided I'm not going to do, my body felt like this. Okay, not a good feeling. When I considered not doing it and going for my vision, and here's where it's so important to know where you want to go. When I was thinking about my vision, my body felt like this. My soul felt like this. My heart felt like, yes! I don't know how we're going to do it, but yes! So we can tell just how we're feeling in our bodies, where our energy is, and on what level. And then the question is, how do you get up that spiritual, energetic pyramid? Because I'll tell you, being in the lower parts of it eats up your body. Dis-ease, depression, upsetness, and worse yet, stuff happening in your environment that can be very devastating. So when those things are happening too often, it's time to look at what we're thinking. Oh yeah, it comes back to that. What are you thinking? What are you believing? What are you holding on to that isn't serving your highest and best or anybody else's highest and best? And by the way, you get to start with your highest and best, because it's just like being on the airplane when they say put the oxygen mask over your face first and then put it over your child. If you're out cold, the kid's in trouble. So first you have to be able to breathe and then get it on the child. So first, we have to be whole and working at our best to help others. And that brings me to something very important. we're always saying, take care of yourself, do what you need to do, eat properly, think, do your spiritual practices. We're saying, go for what you love, do what you love, live your passion. And there are folks who say, that's not good. That's self-aggrandizing, one person told me. All about you. I was reading, I found Quora. Somebody told me about Quora, and I do believe it was you. But thank you so much. So I get this Quora stuff. Some of which I'm like, oh my God, why am I still getting this? But one I got on vibrations, the very thing we're talking about. And I read it said, okay, well, does raising your vibration make your life better? Oh my God, the comments. That's a bunch of hooey and BS, and that comes from those spiritual philosophies who feel like, who feel like, basically they were sort of saying it's kind of like you're just going out to get good stuff for yourself, to be getting good stuff for yourself, and you're just going for the stuff. And I thought, well, it's true. Some people are just going for the stuff. They say, okay, affirmation, 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 affirmation. Now I should have what I want. That is going for the stuff. Yes, if that's all there is. But raising the vibration of where I am as a person helps raise the vibration of others. You know how it is. You can take people down in a heartbeat. We can just start talking about this and that and how awful it is and blah, blah, blah. And time everybody's down there at level 1 having a pity party or whatever of some sort. But vibrations are valid, and trying to raise them is valid. And yes, manifesting what we want in life is a level of vibration, and frankly, I ain't mad at you about it. I think where it might become questionable is if that's all we're doing, is manifesting what we want, and the heck with everybody else. But it is okay to start with manifesting what we want and considering it a path. It's sort of like when you first start doing this stuff, you can find parking spots. They say that's the lowest level of, once you start getting into manifesting, it's easy to manifest parking spots. But there's more to life than parking spots. So listening, or rather reading these comments, I was too tickled, and I started to write something in there, and I was like, no, I have other things to do. They can just go on with their discussion. But one person did say, no, there is some definite truth to vibrations and the impact where we are on our vibratory level or thinking. There is some truth to how it plays out in our world. So we might want to consider that. So in my opinion, and there's probably somebody out there, if you looked it up on the internet, who would agree with me, I find it much healthier and more helpful to look at what I do want versus what I don't want. To look at what I do want to see versus what I'm seeing right now. And I was talking to a friend, I think yesterday, and I was saying sometimes you have to say no to what you don't want so that you can say yes to what you do want. I have found that throughout my life. Nope, this is not it. This doesn't fit where I see myself. I'm just going to have to free fall into faith and know that what I see is truly, truly possible for me, and why not This is a universe of possibilities. There is not only one right way, or only one way, or again in Stephanie's reading, I think, or meditation, where we think it's going to look like this, and then it shows up looking like this. So we have to be open to seeing the essence of it, not just the physicality of it. This it that we want. And again, one of the best tests of where we are is to check in our body and say, how is this feeling? And to let go of it being the fault of everything out there and take a look at, how am I showing up within me? What am I thinking? What am I doing? What am I not doing, not thinking? That's not allowing me to be where I want to be. And then taking that step and free falling into faith, knowing that the winds of spirit will catch us and place us where we need to be. And so it is.
So it is.
And thank you for being here this morning. So I'm going to close my talk with a prayer, knowing that we are all created by a force beyond what we know. It goes by many names: God, Allah, Spirit, universe, that great ground of being, first creator, first soul. Many names, but it is all the same force, intelligence, creative being. Knowing that we are created by it, through it, and from it, and that this spirit, this force comes through us and out into the world. And knowing that it shows up individually for each one of us. So what comes through me as Pamela Grace is different for what comes through Mykal or Mark or Stephanie or Phyllis or Janet or Reba or Cherie or all that are created. It comes through in the uniqueness of each of us. So knowing that there is this power for good and we can use it, I am affirming this morning that that's what we're doing. We may be taking baby steps. We may be just working on what that picture would look like. We may be working ourselves up to the belief that I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can make it so. Or we may be fully into it. Wherever we are, I am affirming that the vision that we have for ourselves in the world, that we are making a difference all the time. And that we are open to how we do that. We take joy in how we do that. We give ourselves permission to do it for the highest and best outcome of ourselves and all around. So I am affirming that, and I am thankful for that. This morning, I am thankful for the creative power within each of us. I am thankful for the individualized aspect where I get to show up as me and you get to show up as you, and it's good. I am thankful for the wind of spirit beneath my wings as I free fall into faith. And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you, you all.
thank you all for being here this morning. I'd like to thank everyone who's still left on Zoom and Facebook. And hopefully that glitch will somehow work out. First time we've had that. And we'll be here at the same time, same place next week. So if you would like to contribute, you can contribute to Northern Light. Go to our website, which is northernlightspiritualcenter.com, and hit the donate button. And I just want to give thanks for this service today. I want to give thanks for Reverend Pamela's talk and for Stephanie's reading, double reading, and her meditation. And if you did miss the meditation on Zoom, you can find it on Facebook, or it'll be on YouTube also, the whole service. I do that every week. And so I just want to give thanks for each person that is present, either virtually or physically. Give thanks for you and the gifts that you bring to this universe, to this center, and to each of our lives. Because we are a part of each other's lives. Whether we actually believe it or not, we are. And we are not here by accident. And so I give thanks for each person here. I give thanks for all the gifts that you bring. And so with this, I just want to raise you and praise you in the name of love. And I want to raise you and praise you in the name of love. And I raise you and I praise you in the name of love. And so it is.